Okay, so now we're going to turn to number 93. Number 93. The trees began to thin as you head northward, and sunlight now dapples the many clearings in the woods. Ahead, you see a sight that is both wondrous and slightly worrying at the same time. A thick oak tree, bedecked in tiny lanterns and clothing lines, is the home to dozens of fairies. The little men and women, none of them more than 6 inches high, flutter and swoop between the branches, laughing and brawling with one another in the unending frolic. Will you investigate or give it a wide berth? Well, we took quite a bit of damage. Let me see if somebody has something they can do. So, Niblet does have Healing Word and Prayer of Healing. Maybe we'll do a Prayer of Healing and then we'll do it. Up to 6 creatures within range regain hit points equal to 2d8 plus your spellcasting mod. You know what? I think Niblet would spend his 1 second level slot and cast Prayer of Healing. We all heal up and then we'll go investigate. So everybody regains 10 plus 4, 14. So that's going to put everybody back at max hit points. Let's go and investigate it. 185. The fairies flitter down and greet you, some shaking your fingers, some pelting you with acorns. You are immediately bombarded with strange jokes, requests for money, pleas for you to do a handstand, and 100 other ever-changing demands. Will you perform for the fairies, offer them a gift, or bat them away and continue with your mission? I think we're going to perform. I think that sounds like fun. I think offering a gift is a good idea too, but let me see if somebody's good at performing. You know what? Actually, nobody is good at performing. Nobody has good, performance checks. So maybe we'll just offer a gift. I think that's probably a better call. So we're going to go to 63 and offer a gift to the fairies. Number 63, what will you offer the fairies? If you offer them a magical ring or a curious toy, which we did take, they glance the object and play with it, you have impressed the fairies. You can also offer them 10 gold, and this will impress them. Everything else you have is far too mundane. You know what? Let's go ahead and give them the curious toy. We got it from the bandits. I don't think we really need it, so let's give it to them. So we give that. We've impressed the fairies. Turn to number 19. Few pass a fairy tree without a single magical boon or curse. Roll a d6 on the table below, adding 2 to the results if they're impressed by you. So they are impressed. The curse or boon affects the whole party and will last until the end of the book. If you manage to reach book 2, the effect will wear off. Not wanting to raise the ires of the fairies, you swiftly bid them farewell, the fairies waving or laughing as you depart. Okay, well, let's roll and see what we get. We got a 6, and we get to add 2, so that's an 8. Boon of ineffable grace. You move with elegance and poise, the earth itself rising to soften your steps. Until the end of the book, all party members have advantage on dex checks? Wow, that's huge. For everybody? Okay, so I'm going to assume then that it should only be the PC that has the Bloodless thing, because this does say the whole party, and the other one did only say PCs get that ability. I think it would be a little OP if everybody got the Bloodless, but if you're playing with 4 PCs and went that route, that would be really, really good. I mean, this is pretty freaking good too. Wow, that is crazy. So let's turn to 193. The sun is sinking rapidly behind the horizon by the time you reach the walls of Tarova. It is a small walled village, but the gate seems open and ready for visitors. If you would like to stay at Tarova, stay there. If you would prefer to avoid the village and sleep outside, turn to 156. Okay, well, last time we tried to sleep outside, it did not end well, so I think we would be all for staying in town. Plus, we're all tired. If there's like an inn or something, that would be great. So we're going to turn to 124. The watchman on the gate in Tarova gives the barest of grunts as he waves you through the doors. The village beyond isn't much. Just a few ramshackle houses clustered around an inn and a dilapidated village church. Wow. It is night, and there will be no chance for any business until morning. If you are being accompanied by a boy named Tom, turn to 189. Otherwise, read on. Okay. The Pied Bull Inn is the largest drinking house in town. The other taverns apparently closed for the night. Pleasing smells of cooked food waft through the door, making your stomachs rumble. Indeed, the inn is surprisingly full. Rough-looking men and dwarves smoke long pipes and drink oversized cups of ale. The bar woman gives you a curt, if suspicious, welcome. "Food is 4 gold pieces for the lot of you," she grunts. 5 gold pieces for a room. So you can spend 2 gold pieces on a round of drinks for the inn, spend 4 gold pieces on some cooked food, forget the food and just hire a room, or will you save your money and sleep outside the village? Nope. I think we should do... we made some gold. Basically, the gold we made from the bandits we could spend on... I think a round of drinks is probably a good idea. Get people in a good spirit, maybe? Or maybe in a brawling spirit? Let's go ahead. Let's spend 2 gold to get some round of drinks. So, we're gonna get 2 gold off. So we are now down to 60 gold. And we'll go do that. So turn to 77. The mood of the inn greatly improves once you get out your gold and start buying rounds of drinks. You are invited to the largest table in the inn to join in a game of Shove Gold, a local game where you have 3 attempts to flick a gold coin through a narrow wooden goal. It requires a fine eye and good coordination. If you wish to play, you must gamble 1 gold piece. Your PC can either make a successful deck check, difficulty 14, or you can play the game in real life on your table. If you play in real life, mark out a goal using 2 dice. The goal is 6 inches wide and should be placed at the end of the table. Then take a coin, any coin, and place it within 2 inches of the opposite edge. You can flick the coin with your finger up to 3 times. If the coin goes off the edge of the table, hits the side of the goal, or you run out of flicks, you failed. If you manage to flick the coin through the goal without touching the sides, you win. Each PC may play twice, bidding 1 gold piece each time. You get back your gold piece and gain another on victory. During the game, you'll chat with your fellow contestants. They will tell you of the dreadful difficulties they have been with orc raiders from the north and how many local farms have been burned to the ground. They're also worried about the road to the east. "It's been blockaded by a sinister group of creatures," mutters the old dwarf deep in his cups. "Glass folk, or shardlings we call them. Agents of the Deathless King they are, born in the Sea of Glass, the corrupted realm outside of Eldivor." "Why are they blocking the road, you ask?" "They claim they have authority from the king," spits the dwarf. "But I have been there trying to keep the locals away from something their master doesn't want anyone to find. Avoid them unless you fancy your chances in deadly battle." You thank the dwarf for his advice. Okay, let's actually go ahead. I don't have a great dexterity as a PC, so I don't think I would play. You know what? It's only 2 gold, right? Or I can gamble twice. You know what? I don't think he would do it. I think that Niblet would do it, but I'm not going to let Niblet because I control the gold. So we're going to skip that, but we are going to spend 4 gold on food. So we go down to 56 gold. 56 gold. And we're going to buy food, so we're going to turn to number 35. The food is a simple dish of stew and potatoes, but it tastes heavenly after 2 days on the road. Because you have eaten today, you will not need to cross off a day's rations when you sleep this evening. The food is not portable, so you cannot buy extra rations here. "Food's getting expensive," admits the bar woman, "but you might be able to buy something at the market tomorrow." Good, because we only have 2 days worth of rations, and that's not great. So now we're going to hire a room for 5 gold, so we go down to 51. So we basically have spent 11 gold here total so far. Hire a room, turn to page 2, or number 2. Feeling tired, you withdraw to your room, locking the door soundly behind you. There are enough beds for everyone, and you may sleep safe and sound until morning. You must take a long rest. Unless you have eaten at the inn, consume 1 day of rations and recover your hit points, hit dice, spell slots, abilities. If you do not eat, you may gain one of these benefits from your rest. Additionally, you must have the current hit points of each PC and NPC in your party. We ate, so it doesn't matter. You permit yourself a little longer in bed this morning, waiting for the sound of the village market to open. Once the hawkers have begun to cry, you pack your things, bid farewell to the barkeep, and make your way to the village square. Turn to 66. Whoops. The village market is quaint, largely selling domestic goods such as cloth, tools, furniture. Food is rather rare, and most of it is fresh and ill-suited to traveling. You do manage to find a stall that sells a few interesting items, however. A surly human with a pair of gruff dwarf bodyguards stands at a table full of knickknacks and weapons. A few items stand out, but the marketeer refuses to let you handle them until you buy them. If a party member knows the detect magic spell and wishes to cast it, turn to 177, otherwise read on. The following goods are for sale: a bag of traveling rations, an ancient-looking great axe, an etched brass ring, a small mirror, a plain-looking short sword, and a dull bronze key. You can buy any or none of these items as you see fit. Once you've made these purchases, turn to 151. Let's see if anybody knows detect magic. Nobody knows detect magic, do they? Nope, nobody knows detect magic, so we're not going to cast that. A bag of traveling rations for 10 gold? How many rations would that be, I wonder? Alright, so let's see. We've got a total of 51 gold. I think we want to keep about 10. So we got about 41 we could do. So there's a great axe, an etched brass ring, small mirror, a short sword. You know, the short sword might be good. Nasir has a short sword, and if it's something special, he probably can use it. A small mirror for 8 gold seems a weird thing. I think the bronze key for sure. The brass ring, I think, is a good idea. The rations and the short sword. So do we just want to do 38 and get everything except for the great axe? You know, yeah. What the heck? Let's do it. That's going to be 22, 39. So 39, we're going to buy everything except the great axe. So minus 39 gold, so we're going to go down to 12 gold. 12 gold, but we buy all that stuff. Once you've made your purchases, turn to 151. Okay. Boop, boop, boop. You leave the village of Tarovia, passing back out the gate and onto the road that leads east. If you bought any items, you may check them now. Okay. The traveling rations we bought, 139. The bag contains some regular or plain tasting rations. Cross off the traveling rations and note you have an extra 2 days of rations. Okay, so that gives us 2 days of rations. So now we have 4 days of rations total. That's good. So we've got the traveling rations. Let's check out the ring, number 96. You examine the ring and you are surprised at how valuable it is. This is a ring of the flame serpent that grants its wearer fire resistance. In addition, it allows you to speak in the Ignan tongue, an exotic language spoken by fire creatures. Cross off the brass ring and replace it with the ring of the flame serpent, then turn back to 151. Excellent. Well, I'm giving that to Torek. So one thing about this system is NPCs are not allowed to be given items unless specifically it says so. So the only person who can take this is Torek. So I'm going to give him this ring, so he gets fire resistance, and now knows Ignan. Interesting. So that was definitely worth the money we paid for it. That's awesome. Let's go to 151. If you brought the mirror, turn to 18. The mirror is well polished and is about a foot square. You examine it carefully but find nothing special about it. Now turn back to 151. Well, that was like 8 gold down the drain. That seems expensive for a mirror. I hope it comes in use later. If you bought the short sword, turn to 60. The short sword has a wonderfully sharp blade and is perfectly balanced. It's a +1 short sword. You may keep it for yourself, or if Nasir is in your party, give it to him. If you choose to do so, tick the +1 box next to Nasir's short sword to remind you that he is +1 to hit and damage with his short sword from now on. Excellent. So, like I said earlier, this specifically says we can give it to Nasir, so we're going to do that. So he now has a +1 weapon. Excellent. Now we go to bronze key 44. The bronze key is strong but old. You wonder what lock it fits. There is certainly no clue on the key itself. Now turn back to 151. Well, hopefully that'll come in useful later. 151. 151. Once you've checked all your purchases, turn to 112. Okay. Leaving Tarova behind, you make your way a few miles along the road, the route becoming hilly and rather tiring to cross. Coming to a natural rise, you see a disturbing sight. The road ahead is blockaded by a number of sinister-looking humanoids. A barrier has been erected between two cliffs to effectively seal off the way onwards. A banner depicting a crowned skull has been raised proudly above the wooden barricade. Now we can approach the barricade cautiously or slip off the road and climb the wild hills to avoid the barricade. So these are, I'm assuming, the glass folk that the dwarf in town was talking about. I think we're going to go to the barricade cautiously. I think that at some point you got to start fighting to get some experience. And I think if we take this fight, we might have enough to level up. So I'm going to risk it. I think we're going to go fight. So 143. You scramble toward the barricade, using the nearby rocks to cover your approach. Finally, you're able to get a good look at the humanoid figures. They seem deformed somehow, with painful-looking shards of glass jutting from their faces and the flesh of their bodies. Their leather armor cut with holes to allow the jagged shards to poke through. There are 8 figures here, including 2 strange-looking wolf-like creatures with slivers of sharp glass for feet. There's no obvious way to sneak past the barricade, as it's built from wall to wall. Do you approach the figures openly, unleash a barrage of missile or spell fire on the creatures, or charge the barricade and try to clamber over, or climb or back up and make your way overland through the hills? I think we should do the barrage of missile and spell fire on the creatures. I've got 3 spellcasters, all of whom can cast spells, and 1 with a bow. So I feel like that's the right approach. And we know that these are servants of the Deathless King, and so we definitely want to take them out. Yeah, let's do it. So we're going to do the spellfire one. So we're going to 137. You may as well soften up your opponents while you can. Absolutely. Readying spells and missile weapons, you unleash a barrage of fire at the glass folk on the walls. Turn to 157, but note that your party gains a surprise round, where each party member can attack with a ranged weapon or spell before combat begins. Excellent. I love that. So let's go 157. Oops. Battle at the barricade. If you win, turn to 98. Okay, we'll go to battle at the barricade. Well, I think this is a good spot to end it for now. When we come back, we'll do the battle at the barricade. Thank you very much for watching. I appreciate it. If you like this, leave me a like. If you want to see more, or if you have any comments or questions, leave them in the comments and I'll answer them as best I can. And again, if this is something you want to play yourself, you can download it from the link in the description. So again, thank you, and we will see you next time.